How's it going, everyone? This is Jimmy, personal trainer and mobility specialist here at Evolution Physical Therapy and Fitness. I'm going to take you all through about a 20-minute full body mobility session focused on recovery and with a little extra emphasis on hip mobility. So we're going to start with today's our CARs, or controlled articular rotations. So we're going to be taking several joints through their maximum range of motion, one joint at a time. We're going to start from our cervical spine, so we're going to stand feet hip width apart, hands by your side, make a little fist, think 30% tension throughout your whole body, so abs are engaged, glute squeezed, quad squeezed, all the way down to your feet. Then slowly you're going to start with your chin coming down to your chest. Your chin is going to rotate to that left shoulder, trace along your collarbone, side bend and extend, make a big circle all the way up and over to that right shoulder, trace your collarbone into the middle. We're going to go two more in the same direction. Try to have just your cervical spine and your neck moving. Think about not letting your shoulder blades come along for the ride. One more time, rotate to the left shoulder. Fight to make the biggest circle you can trace with just your chin over to that right shoulder. Chin traces in towards the middle, and we're going to go ahead and reverse it. Rotate over to the right shoulder, side bend on that side, slowly coming into extension. You should feel that big stretching through the front of the neck. Rotate right back around into lap number two. Rotate to that right shoulder, side bend and extend. Rotate over to the left shoulder, in towards that collarbone. We got one last time. Try to expand the circle just a tiny bit each rep, all the way up and over to that left shoulder. Trace it in towards the middle and all the way back up. From there, we're going to move that same motion, but now we're going to move through our thoracic spine. So feet are going to be a little bit wider than your hips, hands across your chest. Create a little bit of tension, almost like you're trying to tuck your elbows into your rib cage. Slowly think one vertebrae at a time. Chin comes into your chest, and we're going to flex that spine forward. Think from your hips down, nothing else is going to move as we rotate to the right. So as you rotate right, try not to let this left hip come along for the ride. Now your right shoulder is going to side bend, so you're going to drop towards that right foot. Slowly come into extension, rotate over to the left. Then now left shoulder drops towards that left foot. Trace that circle back in towards the middle. And then we're going to go straight on through. I'll show you from the side view here. Flexing that spine, rotate to the right. Right shoulder drops in, slowly extending. Think about trying to pop your chest up, not just hinging from one spot in your back. Rotate to the left shoulder tucks in, wrap it around. We got one more lap, rotate right. Same thing as with the neck, try to expand the circle each time as you extend. Rotate left shoulder drops in, wrap it right around, then come all the way back up. I'm gonna take a little reset there. I'll show you from the side view, same thing as your hands are across your chest. Slowly think one vertebrae at a time, rounding yourself forward just from that mid and upper back. Then from there, rotate to the left without letting your hips move. Left shoulder drops in, slowly extend through that middle of your back, rotate to the right. Right shoulder drops in, wrap it right on through into the next one. Remember, keeping the tension through your glutes and your quads so your hips stay in place. Rotate left shoulder drops in as we extend. You're rotating to the right. Right elbow tucks. One last time, rotate to the left shoulder drops in, slowly as you extend up. Rotate to the right. Right shoulder drops, and right on through. Our next one, we're going to move into our shoulder blades. So what I want you to think of is no flexion or extension coming from your spine. We're thinking just the shoulder blades moving around. So we're going to start it off hands out in front of your chest. Take a breath in, abs tight, shrug your shoulders up into your neck. Now imagine that your arms are sitting up on a shelf and they can't tilt down or up. As we punch forward, pull them down, squeeze those shoulder blades together, shrug back up into your neck, punch forward, pull them down, squeeze, shrug back up. One last time in the same direction, punch forward, pull them down, squeeze together, shrug back up. Now that we're at the top of the circle, then reverse it. Squeeze back, pull them down, punch forward. Keep those abs engaged so that we're not moving through our spine, but just the shoulder blades. Punch forward, shrug up. We got one last time, pull them back, down, punch forward, shrug up, and rest. All right. Shoulders are coming next. So same thing here. I want you thinking about the ball and socket, and we're going to try to maximize the range of motion for that shoulder. So left hand coming across your rib cage, kind of keep a little bit of tension through your upper body and keeping that rib cage from rotating around. Your right shoulder, from here, we're going to externally rotate, so think palm and bicep facing forward. Now as you bring it across your chest, bicep is going to scrape against your face, your bicep. Then once we're in here, without any extension from your spine, you're going to turn that palm away from you as you internally rotate, and then continue to trace that circle until the back of your hand is at your hip with the pinky facing forward. Then we reverse. You're going to extend as far back as you can. Once you hit that wall, then you'll begin that external rotation, and then you'll continue that rotation as you come all the way back up to the front. Two more just like that. Imagine if I had a marker in your hand and you're trying to draw the biggest circle you can using just that shoulder. No compensation from the rest of your body here. Slowly arm raises up, bicep across your face, across your ear. Make sure that when we come into here, we're not extending through your back. So ribs are staying down into that belly, even if it means that circle is getting a little smaller as you internally rotate. Continue that rotation, back of your hand up against your hip, and then reverse. Extend back, externally rotate. Continue that rotation as you come all the way to the front. One last time here, just like that. Flexion, bicep next to your ear, internally rotate. Continue to rotate until that back of your hand is up against your hip, and then reverse. Extend back, external rotation. Continue that rotation as you come to the front, back down by your side. You can shake it out there a little bit. Remember, our goal here is to try to expand the circle a little every time. Left shoulder, external rotation, bicep and palm facing forward. Bicep comes across your chest. As you raise your arm across your face, across your ear, then you internally rotate. Think palm and bicep both turning away from you. And then reverse, extend back, external rotation, all the way back down to the front. We're gonna do two more here. And then we move into our hips, bicep next to your ear. Turn that bicep away from you, all the way back down by your side. And remember, when you extend, don't let your torso dip forward. Fight to keep that chest nice and tall as we externally rotate, all the way back in front. Last one here, extend, and then internally rotate by your side. Last half, extend back, external rotation, all the way back down in front. For our next one, for our hips, all you're gonna need is a stick to hold on to, or even just going up against the wall. Starting with our right hip here, we're gonna start with an externally rotated hip. So think little hacky sack kick, think rotation coming from your femur or your thigh. As we flex, bring that knee up towards your chest, open wide. Keep the knee where it is as we internally rotate, and then extend, sending that heel behind you. Bring it all the way back in. Then we reverse. Abs stay tight, extend from the hip. Try to keep that spine nice and tall, open wide, rotate, and then continue that rotation all the way back down. Two more just like that on this side. Try to keep yourself nice and tall. Try not to compensate as you open wide, internally rotate, extend, back down by your side. If you need to, you can tap that toe for a short pause. Heel comes back towards your butt. Extend, open wide, rotate up and over, back down. We got one last time. Remember, we're gonna try to make the circle a little bit smaller here. Knee comes up towards your chest, open wide, internally rotate, extend, slowly back down, and then last half, extend, open wide, foot up and over that hurdle, back down. All right, same thing here on the other side. Balance on that stick. We're not only using this for balance, but you're also driving into the floor just to create a little bit of tension through your upper body. Left foot comes out in front, externally rotate, abs tight, nice and tall. Think hip flexors, pulling that knee up towards your chest, open wide, internal rotation, extend, back down, heel comes back towards your butt. Remember, squeeze, make sure that we're not extending and arching. You're just extending from your hip, open wide, up and over with that foot, and then continue that rotation as you get to the front. Number 2 here, same thing, knee comes up, open wide, internal rotation, try to keep yourself nice and tall, back down. Second half, extend, open wide. At the same time that the knee's coming up towards your shoulder, you're trying to rotate that heel out in front of you, back down, one more, knee comes back up, open wide, abs stay tight, don't let your whole spine rotate just from the hip, internally rotate, extend, back in, and then last half, extension coming from just your hip, not your low back, open wide, externally rotate, and back down. From here, we're gonna move to our hands and knees. So a little quadruped thread the needle. If you guys have a foam roller, that's great. If not, you can just reach on through the floor. We're gonna go hands and knees. Your right foot comes out to the side in line with your hip. From here, you're gonna take your right hand behind your head. We're not just gonna lift the arm, but we're trying to get rotation from your thoracic spine. So try to get that chest to open up towards that right foot. Inhale as you open up. Exhale, sink that hand through. If you don't have a foam roller, you can just crawl your fingertips on the floor. Inhale, open up. Exhale, sink it on through. There's 2. We're gonna go to 10 on each side. Think about trying to look through this little window that you're creating here with your arm. Inhale, open up. Focus on your breathing. There's number 5. If you want a little bit more of a stretch into those adductors, if you're not feeling enough, you can always sit back a little deeper into that stretch and then continue for your second half of our thread the needles, sitting just a little deeper into that stretch. There's 7. We got 3 more. 9, and then last one. Remember, try not to jerk into it. You're trying to slowly pull yourself into more rotation in both directions. And from there, we'll go ahead and switch sides. So now same thing here, right foot comes back in. Left leg goes out to the side. If you have that foam roller, it goes just in between your right hand and your right knee. From here, left hand behind your head. Same thing, inhale, not just the arm, but try to get that thoracic rotation to open up. And then big exhale, sink that all the way through. Inhale, open up. Remember, each time try to rotate just a little bit more. And then as you exhale, same thing here. Try to look through that little window. Now, same thing on the other side. If you want a little bit of a deeper adductor stretch, you can always just sit back a little deeper in there and then continue for your second half. Sitting just a little bit closer to that heel. 2 more. And then last one here. All right, the next thing that we have from here is we're gonna go into a little deep Rudders lunge. So we're gonna add a little bit of a breath hold before we go into our rotation. We're gonna start it off in a tall plank, so feet about hip width apart. We're gonna add in a little down dog, so a little active hamstring stretch. Drive your hips up towards the ceiling. As you come forward, right foot comes up outside of that hand. From here, you can drop your left knee on the floor. We're gonna take one big deep breath. Try to relax into that stretch. On the next one, as you exhale, we're gonna add that rotation. Now hands come back down, kick back into that plank. Another down dog from there. Then left foot comes up outside of that hand, right knee drops down. One big deep breath. Try to relax into that stretch. On the next breath, as you exhale, gonna add in that rotation. There's 2, we're gonna go to a total of 10, so 5 on each side. Back into that down dog. As you come forward, right foot outside of that hand. Deep breath if you can. You can sink a little deeper in here. Then, second breath, you add that rotation. There's 3. Kick back, down dog, come forward, left foot, right knee comes down. 1 big deep breath. Next one. Exhale, open up. Come back down. Down dog. Right foot outside of that hand. Breath in, try to sink a little deeper each time you go into this lunge. Exhale, open up. Back down, kick back, down dog again. A little bit more of a hamstring stretch. Left foot, right knee comes down. You should feel that each time you go into this lunge, you're able to sink a little deeper. Back into that down dog. Now from here, showing you guys from the front, when you're coming and bringing that foot up and over. From here, if you need to, you can use that hand on that knee to sink. Try to create a little bit more workspace in through this right hip. Hand can go on the foot. You can use your elbow to push out against there. Then we go into that rotation. Hands come back. Left foot, we go into that down dog first. Left foot outside of that hand. Right knee comes down. Sink a little bit deeper. Same thing if you need to. If you want a little extra stretch, you can play around with this lead hip. Rotate up and over to that left side. Come back down. We got 1 more time to each side. Right foot comes up outside of that hand. Left knee drops down. Big rotation. Last one here. We go back into that down dog. Plank it out again. Left foot outside of that hand. Big rotation all the way up and around. Kick back and down and rest. All right, from here we're gonna go into a little 90-90 stretch. If you're new to the 90-90 stretch, we're gonna start with the left leg forward and your right leg back. 90-degree bend at the front knee, 90-degree bend at the back knee. Your front foot should almost line up with that trail leg shin. Now we're gonna start it off with the lead leg, just external rotation stretch. So chest is up nice and tall. You're pulling yourself forward up over that front leg. You're gonna hang out here for about 45 seconds. As we're doing this, you're thinking slow breath in, slower breath out. You should feel most of that stretch on the outside of that front leg. As you're sinking into here, if you need a little bit more of a stretch, think pulling your chest forward up over that left shin. I know not everybody's is gonna be the same, so you might have to angle yourself out wherever you need to be to feel a pretty good stretch on that outside hip. We're gonna hang out here for about another 15 seconds. Think with every exhale, trying to relax into that stretch a little bit more. All right, then from there, you're gonna take your right hand behind your back. From here, we're gonna work on keeping this left shin down as we externally rotate on this right hip. As you open up, try to get as far wide as you can, keeping that shin down. Once you hit your end range and can't move anymore, fight for just a little millimeter more, and then slowly you'll begin transferring over into the 90-90 on the other side. Now before we sink into this stretch on this front leg, we're gonna work some hip hinges on this trail leg. So your left toe stays down as we externally rotate. Fight for more once you get to your end, and then swivel close. We're gonna do, that's 1, you got 4 more. Swivel open, try to keep that chest up nice and tall. Swivel closed, there's 2. Swivel open, get to your end. Swivel closed, 3. Try not to compensate through your spine, 2 more. Swivel open, close. Last one. If this is getting a little difficult, you can always just sit back a little deeper and then give this hip a little bit more room to work, and then swivel close. Now we're gonna go back into the passive stretch on this front leg. So now same thing that we were doing on that left leg. Here with the right leg, you should be in that 90-90 position on this side. Chest stays up nice and tall, pulling yourself forward up over that right shin. Now same thing as the other one, slow breath in, slower on your breath out. Again, if you need to play around with that stretch, you can angle yourself out of the way, pull yourself a little deeper into that stretch, and you should feel all of it on the outside of this front leg. Hang out here for about another 20 seconds. Same thing, slow breath in. Try to go a little slower on your breath out. All right, then from there, same thing. Left hand comes behind your back. We're gonna work some trail leg hip hinges after we transfer back over to the other side. So your right shin is gonna stay down. Your left shin, you're gonna slowly swivel open, get as far wide as you can, then slowly, keeping those knees as far apart as you can, transferring over to the other side. Now once we're in here, we're gonna work those trail leg hip hinges, right hand sitting behind your back. If this is too easy, you can face that front leg. This is gonna make it a little bit more difficult. Same thing, foot heel staying down as we swivel open, get to your end, fight for a little bit more, swivel closed. There's one, we got 4 more. Swivel open, get to your end, swivel closed, back down. Swivel open, get to your end, keeping that left shin down, fight for a little bit more range. Swivel closed, 2 more here. Swivel open, swivel closed, last one, get to your end, swivel closed, and rest. Now from here, we're gonna work some internal rotation, all right? Now instead of favoring this front leg, we're gonna try to sit this right cheek down onto the floor, and almost like you're trying to turn your torso to face this trail leg shin. You should feel a big stretch along this cuff of the hip here. It's not gonna be the same as the front leg since we do have a lot less musculature to sit into a stretch. And then just sit here and same thing, slow breath in, slower on your breath out, trying to relax into this stretch as best as possible. I'm gonna hang out here for about another 30 seconds. Think about keeping the legs still, and it's your pelvis trying to sit and rotate over that still leg. Got about another 10 here. Now, once we're done with this passive stretch, we're gonna move into some active work on this trail leg. So let's go ahead and lean back forward up over the front leg. Nice tall spine, knee is gonna stay down. We're gonna work some internal rotation. So picture the rotation coming this way. Knee is gonna stay down, foot is going to lift. We're gonna work 10 lift-offs on the trail leg. Solidify your position, nice tall spine. If this is too hard, you can always lean yourself out to the side, give this hip a little bit more room to work as we internally rotate and then back down. Lift off, 2. Lift off, 3. Lift off, 4. Make sure that if you're jerking your spine to try to get that lift, you just walk yourself out a little bit more. Lift off, 5. Lift off, 6. Lift off, 7. Make sure it's your whole foot lifting off. 8. Lift off, 9. Lift off, 10. Back down. From here, we're gonna work back into that little movement path where we're gonna transfer over to the other side. So front shin is gonna stay down. From here, right hand comes behind your back. We're gonna lift and swivel open on this right side. Fight for just a little bit more range than we did on those first 2 rounds. Then slowly, we'll begin transferring all the way over to the other side. Once we're in this position, now same thing here, we're gonna work some internal rotation, passive stretching on this trail leg. So from here, all you're gonna do is keeping that shin down, just try to sit that left glute onto the floor. You probably won't be able to, there will still be some space under there, but the intention of getting your pelvis to rotate over that trail leg, and we're just gonna sit here and hold it and breathe. Same thing, slow breath in, slower on your breath out. You should feel that stretch right along this cuff of the hip here. Try to let yourself sink a little deeper with every deep breath that we're taking. Keep hold in this position. We got about another 30 seconds. Once we're done with this passive stretch, we're gonna move into our active lift-offs, the same as we did on the other side. About 15 more seconds. Same thing, trying to relax into that stretch as best as possible. Give me one more big deep breath. Then from here, you're gonna shift forward up over that front leg. Now, same as with our lift-offs on the other side. If you aren't able to lift, that's okay as long as you feel everything on the outside of this hip trying to generate that lift. If not, you can just walk your hands out to the right side just a little bit. Same thing here, nice tall spine, solidify your position with your arms, lift off, back down. Remember, we're rotating. Lift, there's 2. Whole foot lifting, 3. Lift off, 4. Lift off, 5. Lift off, 6. Lift off, 7. Lift off, 8. Lift off, 9. One more. Lift off, 10. And rest. Good. Then the last thing we're going to do from here is we're going to finish with some hip cars from our hands and knees. So same cars that we started with in the beginning, standing. We're just going to work on saving some of that work we just did to create more workspace into our hips. So hands and knees, we're going to start it off with the right hip here first. Imagine if you had your phone or a glass of water sitting on your low back, and we don't want that to spill. So from here, right knee comes up towards your chest, open wide, keep both arms straight as you internally rotate, send that heel up towards the ceiling, slowly back down. Then we reverse it, heel drives up, abs stay tight as you open wide, rotate, try to bring that knee all the way up and around towards that elbow, middle of your chest, back down. One more time each way. Knee comes up toward your chest, open wide, internally rotate, and then slowly set it down. Last half from here, extend. Make sure the extension is coming from your hip and we're not arching through your low back. So core stays engaged, open wide, rotate all the way around, back down. Nice work. We're gonna do last 2 on the other side. From here, hands and knees again. Take a breath in, strong through the upper body, knee comes up toward your chest, open wide, internal rotation as you extend, slowly back down. Take a little half breath and reverse. Extend up, abs stay tight so that we're not arching through your spine, open wide, all the way around with that knee, back down. One last time each way. Knee comes up toward your chest, open wide, internally rotate and extend, gently back down. And last half from here, keeping that back nice and straight, extend up, reaching that heel towards the ceiling, open wide, externally rotate, slowly bring it all the way back in, and down and rest. Great work, everyone. Hope you enjoyed. Remember, you guys can add that in at the beginning of a session, at the end of a session, on your rest days. Hope you enjoy.